You're working 60-hour weeks, juggling countless tasks, and pushing harder than ever before, yet your progress feels frustratingly slow. You're grinding for incremental gains while watching others seemingly leap ahead with less effort. This paradox isn't uncommon among high achievers who find themselves trapped in what appears to be productive busyness, but yields diminishing returns. The conventional wisdom suggests that achieving better results dramatically requires proportionally more effort. Yet this linear thinking often leads to burnout rather than breakthrough. This book introduces a revolutionary framework that challenges this assumption entirely. Rather than pursuing marginal improvements through increased effort, the authors present a counterintuitive approach that achieving 10 times better results is actually easier than doubling your current performance. This concept emerges from decades of coaching successful entrepreneurs and observing how true breakthrough performers operate fundamentally differently from their peers. The framework rests on the principle that exponential growth requires qualitative transformation rather than quantitative escalation, demanding that we abandon the comfort zone of familiar methods and embrace radical simplification of focus. Through this lens, readers will discover how to identify the critical 20% of activities that drive 80% of results, while systematically eliminating the busy work that masquerades as progress. The journey ahead promises to reshape your understanding of productivity, success, and the very nature of ambitious goal achievement. The 10x versus 2x framework, quality over quantity. The fundamental distinction between 10x and 2x thinking lies not in the magnitude of goals, but in the complete transformation of approach. While 2x thinking represents linear progression, essentially doing more of what you're already doing with incremental improvements, 10x thinking demands a qualitative leap that renders previous methods obsolete. This framework operates on the principle that when you aim for 10 times better results, you cannot simply work 10 times harder or apply existing strategies more intensively. Instead, the seemingly impossible nature of the goal forces you to question every assumption and discover entirely new pathways. The power of this framework becomes evident when we examine how constraints actually create clarity. When faced with a 2x goal, numerous pathways appear viable, creating decision paralysis and scattered effort. However, 10x goals are so ambitious that they immediately eliminate most conventional approaches, leaving only a few high-leverage strategies worth pursuing. This constraint paradoxically makes the path clearer and more achievable because it demands focus on what truly matters while discarding everything else. Consider the entrepreneur who wants to double their revenue versus one who commits to increasing it tenfold. The first might consider hiring more salespeople, working longer hours, expanding product lines, or incremental marketing improvements. The second must fundamentally reimagine their business model, identify breakthrough innovations, or discover untapped markets. While the 2x thinker spreads effort across multiple marginal improvements, the 10x thinker concentrates on the few changes that could reshape everything. This framework reveals why quality consistently trumps quantity in achieving extraordinary results. 10x performers understand that creating something 10% better than the best available option often generates results that are 10 times greater than the competition. The slight edge in quality creates exponential differences in market response, client satisfaction, and long-term success, demonstrating that the path to exponential results lies through excellence rather than expansion. Shedding your 2x identity, elevating standards, and unique ability, personal transformation lies at the heart of 10x achievement, requiring a fundamental shift in identity rather than merely adopting new tactics or strategies. Your current identity, shaped by past experiences and incremental improvements, naturally gravitates toward 2x thinking because it seeks to preserve what already exists while making modest enhancements. Breaking free from this pattern demands the courage to release not just ineffective behaviors, but successful ones that no longer serve your elevated vision. The process of shedding your 2x identity begins with recognizing how loss aversion keeps you anchored to familiar approaches. People naturally overvalue what they currently possess, whether it's a particular skill set, client base, or business model, simply because it's theirs. This psychological tendency makes it painful to abandon even moderately successful strategies in favor of unknown but potentially superior alternatives. However, 10x transformation requires what feels like calculated destruction of your current success to make room for exponentially better possibilities. Elevating your standards becomes the mechanism through which identity transformation occurs. When you refuse to accept anything less than exceptional results in your chosen domain, you create internal pressure that forces capability development. This isn't about perfectionism, but rather about committing to a level of quality that feels uncomfortable and slightly beyond reach. As you consistently deliver at this elevated standard, your identity gradually shifts to match your new performance level, making what once seemed impossible feel normal. The concept of unique ability emerges as the focal point for this transformation. Rather than trying to improve across all dimensions, 10x thinkers identify and develop their distinctive combination of talents, passions, and market needs into something truly irreplaceable. This process requires brutal honesty about what energizes versus drains you, combined with the discipline to delegate or eliminate everything that falls outside this zone of genius. By concentrating development efforts on your unique ability, while systematically removing everything else from your plate, you create the conditions for exponential improvement in what matters most. From scarcity to abundance, wanting versus needing mindset. The distinction between wanting and needing represents one of the most profound shifts in thinking that separates 10x performers from their 2x counterparts. Needing operates from scarcity, creating a mindset where resources appear limited and success requires competing for finite opportunities. This perspective generates anxiety, compromises, and reactive decision-making because every choice carries the weight of potential loss. In contrast, wanting emerges from abundance, recognizing that value can be created rather than merely captured, and that the right opportunities are drawn to those who operate from a position of strength. When you operate from need, every decision requires justification to yourself and others, because you're essentially asking permission to pursue something that might take resources away from someone else. This creates an exhausting cycle of rationalization and external validation that drains energy and dilutes focus. Wanting, however, requires no justification because it stems from internal clarity about what you choose to create or experience. This shift eliminates the mental overhead of constant explanation and allows you to direct all energy toward achievement rather than defense. The abundance mindset recognizes that wealth and value are created through innovation and unique contribution rather than redistributed from existing sources. When you understand that your success doesn't diminish others' opportunities, but actually creates new possibilities, you're free to think bigger and act bolder. This perspective enables you to see solutions where others see problems, opportunities where others see obstacles, and partnerships where others see competition. Freedom emerges as both the means and the end of this transformation. Unlike external freedoms that can be granted or taken away, the freedom to choose what you want represents an internal commitment that no external force can diminish. This freedom requires courage because it means taking full responsibility for your choices and their consequences, but it also unleashes the creative power that comes from authentic self-expression. When you operate from this foundation of chosen freedom, your unique ability naturally emerges and develops because you're no longer constrained by what others think you should want or need. Building self-managing companies, leadership, and time freedom. The evolution from individual contributor to transformational leader represents a critical transition in achieving sustainable 10x results. Most entrepreneurs remain trapped in operational details, believing that their direct involvement ensures quality and control. However, this approach creates a ceiling on both personal growth and organizational potential because it limits the business to what one person can manage directly. Building a self-managing company requires a fundamental shift from being indispensable to making yourself increasingly unnecessary in day-to-day operations. Transformational leadership differs markedly from traditional management by focusing on developing others' capabilities rather than controlling their activities. Instead of micromanaging tasks and decisions, transformational leaders create clear vision, establish strong culture, and develop systems that enable team members to make excellent decisions independently. This approach requires the counterintuitive step of giving up control to gain leverage, trusting others to handle responsibilities that you previously managed personally. The journey toward self-management typically progresses through predictable stages. First, hiring administrative support to handle routine tasks. Then, developing specialized team members who own specific functional areas. Next, training managers who can lead teams independently. And finally, creating systems that enable the organization to operate and grow without constant oversight. Each stage requires the leader to release previous responsibilities while elevating their own contribution to higher-level strategic thinking and vision development. Time freedom emerges as both a requirement and a result of this organizational evolution. Leaders need substantial, unscheduled time to think deeply, explore new possibilities, and maintain the strategic perspective necessary for 10x growth. Paradoxically, this requires working fewer hours while producing better results, as the quality of strategic thinking matters far more than the quantity of tactical execution. The entrepreneurs who achieve this balance often structure their time around focused work sessions, extended recovery periods, and regular strategy sessions, creating a rhythm that supports both high performance and sustainable growth. Creating exponential results. The complete 10x process. The complete 10x process integrates all previous elements into a systematic approach for achieving exponential results repeatedly. This process begins with establishing a vision so compelling and specific that it immediately clarifies what matters and what doesn't. Unlike modest goals that allow for multiple valid approaches, truly ambitious visions eliminate most options and highlight the few paths with genuine potential for breakthrough results. The vision serves as both a destination and a filter, helping you say no to good opportunities in order to say yes to great ones. Implementation of the 10x process requires simultaneous attention to personal transformation and external execution. You must continuously evolve your own capabilities and mindset while building systems and relationships that support exponential growth. This dual focus prevents the common trap of trying to achieve 10x results with 2x thinking or attempting to maintain 2x comfort while pursuing 10x challenges. The integration of inner development and outer achievement creates a reinforcing cycle where personal growth enables better results, which in turn support further development. The process also demands a sophisticated understanding of leverage and constraints. Rather than trying to improve everything incrementally, 10x thinkers identify the single most important limitation, preventing breakthrough results, and concentrate all improvement efforts there. This might be a skill deficit, a relationship gap, a systems bottleneck, or a mindset limitation. By focusing intensively on the primary constraint until it's resolved, they create dramatic improvements with focused effort rather than diffused activity. Sustainability of 10x results requires building what the authors call unique ability teamwork, where each team member operates primarily within their zone of genius while collaborating with others who complement their strengths. This creates an environment where everyone is energized by their work, contributing their best thinking, and continuously developing their distinctive capabilities. The result is an organization that becomes more valuable and effective over time, rather than wearing down through overextension and compromise. The revolutionary insight that 10x growth is easier than 2x improvement fundamentally challenges conventional wisdom about achievement and success. True breakthroughs emerge not from working harder within existing paradigms, but from the courage to abandon familiar approaches in favor of transformational thinking that renders previous limitations obsolete. This framework offers profound implications for how we approach personal development, business strategy, and life design. By recognizing that exponential results require qualitative transformation rather than quantitative escalation, leaders can escape the exhausting trap of incremental improvement and discover the elegance of focused excellence. The path forward involves identifying your unique ability, building systems that enable your best contribution, and maintaining the strategic perspective necessary to recognize and pursue the few opportunities that truly matter.